I want to play a game. We really get a chance to do this because the draft is just fast and furious. You know, you're just catching your breath. But our favorite draft classes. When you sit back, because you do a lot of homework on these guys, and we know who we like personally. So let's inject our 2 cents. Do you mind if I go first? Go ahead.
Right. You were gonna anyway.
You're right. It says so in the rundown. Ben Cherington back as a GM for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I was rooting for him to have a big class, and he did. His first pick was Nick Gonzalez, was my favorite player in the draft. This kid put up video game numbers at New Mexico State. He had $399 in 3 college seasons combined. He had 12 home runs in 16 college games before the pandemic shut down the spring season. I love Nick Gonzalez. He's going to be the future face of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Mark my words, that's how special he is. You also had Carmen Majinski, 6'2", 230-pound right-hander, college arm. He was incredible at the Cape Cod League. I know he didn't pitch at all his sophomore year, but just look for him. Jared Jones might be a tough sign. He's going to go to Texas, but he might go to University of Texas. But Nick Garcia is the highest drafted Division III player since Jordan Zimmerman years ago. This kid out of Chapman University in California. This kid could be a reliever, Dan, could be a starter, filthy stuff, quick to the big leagues. I love what Ben Cherington did. That's my #1 draft class.
I like that. I like that. The only thing, Dan, is you notice how Greg talked through all his video as if they were all Nick Gonzalez. We'll let him continue to host.
Well,
we'll do the breakdown.
Thank you.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
Now, my team, I'm going to start with.
Bit me.
I'm going to start with first will be the Miami Marlins. All right, because as you love, they took a bunch of arms. And Max Meyer, this kid, when I saw his slider and then realized he throws 100 miles an hour to go with it, they got something special. I'm not hung up in, oh, he's only 6 feet. Well, Pedro Martinez is 5'11". I can go on. David Cohn, there's a few other guys with some pretty special arms that aren't over 6 feet. But here's the rest of that draft class. And Greg, you memorized this board way better than I ever did.
Dax Fulton, if they sign him,
he's a special
They had him as
talent.
the top high school lefty in the draft class. They signed him with Max Meyer. I mean, they already had a surplus of pitching.
Yeah.
So they just added to it.
There you go. I did the video breakdown. He did the board and gave you the extra.
I'm really good
That's
at
how we
boards.
work together.
All right, what about you, Dan?
A team and a player. Ed Howard, Chicago Cubs. And I get it. You're 5 rounds of the draft. You're trying to build for the future. But if there was a perfect player for an organization, he reminds me of 3 guys. He reminds me a little bit of Barry Larkin. He reminds me of a center fielder, Mike Cameron. And he could be the next Sean Dunston. This kid has an amazing skill set, very advanced defensively for a high schooler. At the top of the draft, and I really don't know the draft and amateur players enough, but I'm going to tell you this. I've watched this young man play, and I'm still amazed that he lasted till he was number 16. I thought from watching video that he was a top 5, for sure a top 10 pick. He fell right into the Cubs' hands. They have a potential superstar at shortstop.
I was so excited to interview him on draft night, and I walked away bummed because we had like a technical issue. He had a party. All of his family and friends were watching the draft, watching us on TV. It was odd. You want to see it?
I do.
This is actually what went down with Ed Howard on draft night. Ed, congratulations. Give us the raw emotion at the time when you found out you were drafted by the Cubs.
It was a surreal moment, man. I don't know. Watching a lot of White Sox games from the South Side, but man, I'm a huge fan of the Cubs as well. So all I can say is go Cubs, go. So I'm ready.
Hey, Ed, it's Harold here. Hopefully you can hear me because we're having a tough time hearing you. So tell the room, be quiet, y'all. I just got picked #1 by the Cubs. I got things to say.
I said be quiet, y'all.
Thank you, Ed.
You know what, Ed? Hey, you keep watching us on TV. It's a good show. I don't blame you for wanting to watch it. I don't blame you.